¿Su nombre?
Lara
¿Apellido?
Croft.
Thank you for portraying a non-sexualized Lara Croft.
Well, she's still sexy, I find, but just not, you know.
But not sexualized. Like.
Exactly. That's the big difference.
Did you get any involvement in the development of the character?
I wouldn't take on any job without doing that. That is my job, and that's what I love. You know, it doesn't matter what kind of genre you're in, or if it's a small independent film, or if it's a big budget studio franchise. You know, my job is to try and bring as fleshed out character as possible for an audience. When I read a script or meet a director, producer, hear their vision, we talk about, you know, what kind of film you want to make, and my imagination starts spinning, and I try to figure out what tools to use to create this character.
You were very down when the first film came out?
No, because that was the first game.
Okay.
It was, the world was introduced to, it was 96, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, so no, I didn't know, I mean, but I was, I remember I was a young girl who finally looked at the TV screen at my friend's house, and I had never seen a female protagonist lead a game before. And that was, of course, groundbreaking and meant a lot, I think, for a young girl to see.
How has changed Lara along these 20 years?
Lara has hopefully been able, I think, you know, you've been trying to hold on to, over the 22 years when she's been with us, to the traits that makes her someone, a character that you can look up to. I love that she is relentlessly adventurous and bold and outspoken, and also has a lot of wit, and is also very clever and smart. But the times that she's been in has changed a lot. I think our generation now is finding very different things relatable to our character than what you did 20 years ago.
So representation matters. I mean, for young girls, young kids, to see a heroine that is like you in the movie is important now.
She's hopefully, you know, that people can relate, because she, even though she has all those famous traits that I mentioned, she's also not, she's open to showing herself vulnerable, which makes her human and hopefully relatable. And I love that, you know, in this film, it was in the story that, you know, it's an origin story, a coming of age story, a young person who hasn't found her journey in life yet, and that is something, I mean, at least when I was in my early 20s, was still trying to figure out, and it's also, I love that she's, like a lot of people, young people have a lot of pressure of, you know, need to know what path or what to do in life or what profession to have, and Laura's having a lot of pressure of taking over her dad, but she wants to find her own journey. She doesn't want to just follow in anyone's tracks, and that I find really empowering. The fact that she is also fine on going a very tough, painful adventure, but she's always kind of stands up and managed to have a smile on her face and keep on going.
You said that the adventure was painful, I guess that mentally and both physically for the character. Did you suffer any injury during filming? Because we see how you get hit, how you fall.
Yeah, she's always being bashed around, poor
Yes.
Lara, a lot. Yeah, that's kind of in her nature. But no, I mean, I've really loved doing these stunts. I mean, I used to dance before I started to act, so I think I've always been very curious how they make these big stunts. But it's interesting because I think I thought that being up in a harness all day and jump around or doing these quite gritty fights were going to be the toughest. But the bruises and the cuts you kind of are able to cope with. But she's in a lot of water. There was a lot of water sequences, and that ended up being the absolute hardest because I was so cold. It was about 10, 12 degrees, and you had to spend, you know, hours and hours there. You know, days after days.
Why do you think that we are enjoying this Scandinavian wave of performers?
You know, it's the same thing with Spain. I think, you know, we who are from smaller countries in Europe, I mean, at least I didn't think that you could work in English language or abroad, The wonderful thing, I think, due to technology, due to the fact that we can travel a lot, it's not only film industry, but all industry is becoming much more global. And I think it's a lovely thing because that makes us, being able to embrace all different kind of cultures and people and make sure that we are as diverse and filmmaking is storytelling, and I think that all different kinds of stories should be allowed to come up to the surface.
Toda precaución es poca hoy en día. La gente está fatal.
Me llevo 2.
Music inspires life.